even know why we're talking about Josh Allen.
Then I throw up.
You throw up
before every game.
I was just gonna say
because I mean, who
He's done.
Who took over the show in this game?
Patrick Mahomes.
Jason
It wasn't
Kelce.
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Travis Kelce.
Jason Kelce.
It wasn't Travis Kelce. It wasn't Josh Allen. It was Jason Kelce, bro.
Yeah, that was my
loved
favorite
that,
part.
bro.
That was my favorite part of the entire game. The fact that you could see Jason Kelce screaming from the stand. But I was looking forward to seeing Jason Kelce's reaction to whatever the hell happened on the field. I mean, that was just me. It was just cool to see him.
Yeah, I mean, he was
I
out
want to get
there.
that. You got to get that picture
pre-gaming.
framed.
Oh, I
He was
just
out
like,
there, but
He was pre-gaming with
Yeah, it was
Bills
just-
Mafia
I might
too.
have to do that.
He was pre-gaming with the Bills
Yeah.
Mafia too. I mean,
Yeah, just
but
like
he was just going crazy.
he's just having the best time of his life.
Hold on.
Explain myself. You said you cared for me,
Louisiana, murder on the beat. Something for y'all to cut up to, you know.
I can do a backflip.
Everybody get your roll on. I know shorty and she doesn't want no slow song. Had a man last year life.
Welcome back. Turf Talks episode number 19. We have the boys in the house here. Spence couldn't make it again tonight, but hey, we'll see him in the next one. Gentlemen, how was the weekend? I know it was a crazy weekend for all of us, getting to watch some good football. Thank you also for always watching. We really do appreciate that. We actually did just post a new video this last weekend on Sunday. Our dog of the year was officially announced in that video. You don't want to miss out. Go ahead and check that video out. It'll be linked after this video, actually. So in the ending credit scenes, you'll see the dog of the year and who actually won. I don't want to spoil it for you. You have to go watch the video.
No
to find out
spoilers.
who did win? But I will say there might have been some controversy from the outcome. Is that correct? Is that what I'm hearing, Wyatt and Dalen, from your inside sources here, or what?
Well, if I say it, it's going to spoil one of the finalists.
Well, I don't. You don't have to say it, but just say something.
All right. So this
I mean, some people were just surprised by the winner.
No, that's
Or
some
like
people.
the finalists.
Yeah, but this person that I'm talking about, definitely maybe an all-decade player, low key, like
I don't
Definitely.
like that's a good argument to put out there. Like he's been
Yeah.
pretty consistent all for the last 11 years.
Yeah. I mean, so what I will say without having to spoil anything, I think we nominated the right people. Whether they won or not, it probably is, that's obviously for you guys to find out, to go watch that video. Like I said, it'll be linked after this video too. But I don't want to spoil it. But I think we got a lot of people up and gave them the recognition that they needed. We talked about this during the video too. Everybody's deserving of this award. A lot of people could have won this. We tried to narrow it down just to one. It's hard. But I think we did a good job with it.
Through
But
18 different people,
it's true. I mean, we had a lot of people that we had to choose from. I think actually the exact number was 16 total because one guy did double up once, but 16 dogs that we had to find. We had to just pick one. It's a tough task. I mean, give us a break. We're only doing this for fun here. So we're not going to get it perfect. But if you disagree with who we had Turf Talks Dog of the Year, or if you disagree with who was even in the finalists or maybe honorable mention, whatever that may be, let us know in the comments below in this video or that video as well. But again, don't forget to like and subscribe when you're watching. Some of you guys are watching this video and you're not subscribed, and that's okay. That's what YouTube is there for. But
it takes 5 seconds.
It takes 5 seconds. Not even. It takes a second. It takes a second out of your busy day, and I get it. It's a busy day. It's a busy life. I get it.
Hit the subscribe button, please.
Thank you. But gentlemen, good to be back. How was the weekend outside of football? And if there's nothing there, then we just dive into it.
I mean, I went to the I Hate Winter Northern's big
That's
thing.
right.
I hate
Yes.
winter. I went Friday. I went to the games, and then Saturday night I went out to the bars.
Hey, the old watering hole, as we call it. That's always a fun time, though. It's like a second homecoming for the college in town, Northern. They have Gypsy Days, which is their actual homecoming, and then there's I Hate Winter, obviously in the winter. So
It's like the basketball homecoming.
pretty much. But, no, it's a fun time. I forgot that was this weekend. Trey, you're in the big city of Sioux Food. You do anything down there, or was it pretty chill, or what'd you do?
Pretty boring weekend for me. Didn't really do a lot. I just sat around.
All right. I respect it. It's all right. Everybody needs a weekend like that. Why? Did you do anything, or was it pretty chill as well?
I mean, I guess Friday was pretty chill. Saturday, I watched the games with Dalen at his place. Yeah, and then you showed up a little later in the day. Watched the Niners-Packers game. And then, Sunday I also just chilled out, hung out. It was a good weekend.
It's a good weekend. Everybody needs a little chill weekend there. But, hey, why don't you just dive into it, I guess, at this point, guys. That's what a lot of us did this weekend to begin with, is we watched some freaking football games, as always.
Hell yeah.
So diving into the weekend recap, it's obviously not even wild card weekend anymore. Super wild card weekend, as they called it previously. This was the divisional rounds of the playoffs. So we only have we had a total of 6 teams that were duking it out to try to make it to their championship game. And it was really good, actually. We had a total of 4 games together.
It's 8 teams, Zach.
You're right. Sorry. 8 teams. 8 teams duking it out. The math is not math.
That Warner math.
That number. That's that Warner math. I apologize. My math teacher. I don't want to call her out. But hey, let's dive into our first game though on Saturday. Texans versus Ravens. This was a really good game. So I think a lot of these games in the playoffs so far, there's been up to this point, there was a lot of blowout games in previous week. But this game started off strong, kind of ended a little bit different from the back end, but we all learned from something. So Wyatt, I want to talk with you first about this, just because you are probably the closest thing we have to a Texans fan here. Just because, I mean, just in general, that's not a shot. That's just
I was riding with them. I said I was riding with them. They're my team for the playoffs, and obviously they got knocked out. Yeah. But first half, 7 penalties accumulated for damn near 50 yards. I mean, obviously they were all on key downs too, key third downs. They averaged 11.5 yards third down, which is terrible. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to go through that. And obviously, Texans worked through that through the first half. They obviously drove down into the red zone, missed the field goal, and then they tried to go for it on 4th, missed that. So, obviously, left a little bit of points on the board in the first half. And then the second half, I mean, this Ravens team, well, let's just start talking about this. This Ravens team is good. I mean, defensively, Clowney is probably playing the best ball he's played since he was playing in Houston. Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith are one of the best 1-2 tandem linebackers in the league. And they did this all without Marlon Humphrey as well. Did not play a single snap that game, and they absolutely shut down Houston's receivers. I mean, also in the rushing game, Houston, 14 rushing attempts, averaged 2.7 yards for only 38 total yards. I mean, absolute complete dominance on both sides of the ball. And Lamar, just doing what Lamar does, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. Zay Flowers, this kid's good, bro. I mean, for only being a rookie and being Lamar's number 1 guy, he has looked outstanding this entire whole season. And not to mention, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews getting hurt and him coming to the spotlight has been the best thing for him. I mean, he is a 6'4" monster at 280. He can block. I mean, when he went up, there was the throw to him that got picked in the first half, and he told Lamar, hey, throw that up. Yep, throw it up. Second half, Lamar realizes it, and he throws it up and Likely just mosses the guy. So I think this Ravens team is at their best, or playing their best football that they could, and I think there's a reason why they're the number 1 seed right here.
Yeah, for sure. Dalen, what do you have to say? I know you're a big Lamar guy too.
Obviously, he did his thing. He's locked in. He's ready for the playoffs. I mean, and then their defense, just like Wyatt was saying, their defense was insane. Mm-hmm. Queen and Roquan Smith were doing their thing. Clowney, their defense is so good, and I don't think anyone realized it because their offense has Lamar Jackson. So he gets most of the spotlight. I don't think their defense gets enough of the spotlight, but their defense is salty. They got Kyle Hamilton when
Hamilton
they get Humphrey back. I mean, this defense.
I think Kyle Hamilton might be that best player on that defense.
Yeah,
I mean, he's starting to
he's
show
up
out.
there. He's up
turning
there.
up.
But
First team All-Pro.
yeah, I mean, Kyle Hamilton has a tough task next week.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And I really want to see that because I think that might prove that he is one of the best safeties in the league right now.
Also, Houston did not play with a man spy all game. Like, they were strictly zoned, and I mean, Lamar just ate that up, and he torched them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you guys the stats, 16 for 22, 152, 2 touchdowns passing, and then also ran the ball only 11 times, but had 100 yards exactly and 2 touchdowns. I mean, Lamar was about as unstoppable as you can be as a quarterback. I mean, he's already been a good runner. We always know that. He's always been he's getting better as a passer, but he really took over in the second half because that's when this game actually started.
It was 10-10 at half.
Yeah, 10-10 at halftime. I remember watching this. I was at the gym and then watched like a little bit of the second half mainly. But it was dominance from the Ravens the entire second half of the game. Not to mention, again, your guy there, Wyatt, CJ Stroud, 19 for 33 at 175. That's it. So one of his worst games, even though it wasn't a bad game, he just wasn't able to do anything.
I mean, the big thing, the big thing, Wyatt already brought this up, but the penalties just killed this team.
On key down.
So many times on 3rd and 3 that they'd get a holding or something that would just move them back and ruin their momentum.
6 penalties on the Texans.
Yeah.
The bank was rocking.
I was going to say.
They were.
That's true too. When you go into a stadium like the Ravens Stadium, I mean, you have to be mentally prepared to be able to do everything you can to not have just stupid penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What I will
much
say,
as I
go ahead.
Oh,
nope, you first.
I was just gonna say, as much as I hate to admit it, like being a Steelers fan and stuff, the Ravens are one tough fucking team. Holy shit! Like,
yeah,
Lamar is just like truly like Mamba mentality right now. Like they got their eyes on one prize, and that's the Lombardi. I mean, I wanted the Texans to win this game, but like, dude, I thought maybe there was a chance after that first half because like both teams came out a little flat. Defenses were dominating, but then
once the Ravens took the drive, it was.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I think it just took them a half to get those wheels turning again. I mean, they had their bye. People always talk about it. Does a bye help a team or does it make it worse for a team?
I think it depends on the team that you have.
Rushed.
Yeah, some teams are better at it than others. I personally know from like a Seahawks fan, we suck after buys. At least we did. Hopefully, with the new coach, can maybe figure that out. But we always would lose first week. I think we're like 0 and whatever it was with Pete Carroll outside of right after our bye week, or even a big like stretch in between games. So it's like. Some teams are good at it. Some teams aren't. Some teams are able to prepare and stay focused on it, and some of them come out flat and not, work it and stuff. I think it's the same thing with Ravens, though. They still came out flat like a typical team that rested for 3 total weeks because they didn't play that last week either. But it didn't matter. Lamar took over in the second half. Lamar probably will win MVP at this point. I think it's a pretty much foregone 100%. Conclusion at this point. I mean, he's going to win it. But overall, I think the Ravens have their best chance to make it to the one thing that's really cool about Lamar is I don't think people give him enough credit of how good of a leader he actually is. He's not just your typical, this guy's just a really athletic quarterback or really athletic NFL player. He's good, but he doesn't command the locker room. He doesn't have a good voice in front of those guys. That's the exact opposite of what Lamar actually is. This guy is a leader on this team, which is so cool to see. Not to mention, he's also just an incredibly smart quarterback, too, in a lot of ways. One of the smartest running quarterbacks I've ever seen from a guy that's not going to take big hits. He's a genius in it. He doesn't get hit and doesn't get rocked, which is such a huge thing as a quarterback, because there's a lot of young quarterbacks that have just gotten their entire career derailed because of that. So that piece alone is important, but everything else that goes into it. Lamar saying it I think after the game too, that I was the one that spoke up at halftime saying, guys, get your shit together, is pretty much what he said.
I was gonna say, I feel like he's like one of those leaders that's like, he most of the time he doesn't say a lot, but like when he does talk, you're like, oh fuck, like this is serious.
Oh,
And,
Lamar's
like,
pissed. Got it.
People listen, yeah. And it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to add on to like just him being a great leader and smart, like I think people realize this, but like he's such a humble person.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's always going to give props to his line. He's always going to say it was someone else did this. Like he's never going to take credit for anything. And that's that's the type of leader you want, especially as your quarterback. I mean, there's nothing better you can have.
Yeah, for sure. So it's really good. I mean, excited for the Ravens. Like you said, they have a big task this week, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But hey, great game overall. Next game, though, was Packers versus 49ers. We all watched this game except you, Trey. Sorry. You're down in Sioux Falls. But I know Wyatt, Dale and I did watch this game. I watched the second half. I think it came a little bit later. But Packers versus 49ers, guys. This was a crazy game. Crazy game. I know, like, I think looking back at it, I know I picked the Packers to win. I don't know if anybody else did. I think you did, Dalen, too, didn't you?
Maybe.
I think you did. I know I picked Packers to win in this game. They obviously didn't. The 49ers squeaked it out at the end. Won by 3, was it? Or no, they won by like 4 or 5, wasn't it? Or was it 3 exactly?
3.
Okay.
It's 24-27, I think.
Gotcha. Well, regardless, there was some good football being played. Pretty rough conditions. It was raining quite a bit over in San Francisco. But the biggest thing to look at this is, Jordan Love had a weird game is the best way I can describe it. It was a weird game for him because he had some good throws. He had some really good moments, but then, I mean, some people could argue he's the reason why they lost that game in the end of it. I mean, with some dumb moves at the end, not saying that's what happened.
Yeah, but there also was a missed field goal before that. I don't want people to forget about the missed field goal.
Missed field goal that would have tied it up. So it would have been a game winning drive, not just, let's try, we need to win this game drive. Or get into overtime, I should say. But Brock Purdy played pretty good. There was a lot of slow start, I would say, for him than anything else. He really slowly worked into it. And this is me saying this now, by the way, guys. I am saying that Brock Purdy played pretty good in the second half, especially. Had a game-winning, drive at the end of it to get ahead of the Packers altogether. Not to mention CMC. Again, crazy game. Absolutely insane game by Christian McCaffrey. As always, I mean, it's not even a question. This guy is the best running back in the NFL
at this point.
He's the best running back in the NFL. It's not even close. There's Christian McCaffrey, and then there's the rest of them. That's literally where he's at right now when it comes to who's good, who's not good. But yeah, man, it was a crazy game though. Why? I know you're also a Kyle Shanahan / 49ers guy. What was your thoughts on the game as a whole?
I mean, you laid it down perfectly. I mean, slow start from Brock, and then all of a sudden in the second quarter, he hits that long shot to Kittle. I mean, it just lit a spark under him, and this Niners defense, I mean, got the pick right after that, and they just took off from there. Like, Obviously, we knew the Packers this was going to be the 49ers gut check right here. I mean, Kyle Shanahan even said it in his press conference. This is a gut check game. I mean, this is probably the best team in the NFC for the 49ers to face. I mean, they whooped the Lions' ass at Thanksgiving, and I really didn't think the Bucs had a chance really against the 49ers anyways. Like, the Packers here were probably the 49ers' next best opponent, and they just took care of business.
Yeah. No, pretty self-explanatory. I mean, not to mention Kyle Shanahan and his record going into this game too, has not been able to historically get it done in the fourth quarter, especially when they trail by 5 or more points.
Yeah.
Before this game, and they showed this graphic, 0-30 in games where they trailed by 5 or more points going into the fourth. And man, they rewrote history this last game, and they were able to get up and win that game.
Kyle Shanahan has not lost to one of his proteges except for Sean McVay in Week 18 because obviously they played backup quarterbacks. That was his first
That's
ever loss
right.
to one of his
That's
proteges, and when Kyle Shanahan's on his A game, he just doesn't lose.
Overall, for like the Packers season, like I don't necessarily like. Yeah, it's like it sucks losing, but like at the same time, like you guys made the divisional round. Like you weren't
At 9-8.
necessarily expected to make. Yeah, I wouldn't say you were necessarily expected to make that. You guys played good. You didn't get your asses stomped by the 49ers. And then also, I think it also made the 49ers look human at some like rate. I mean,
the Ravens did make a
they didn't play the. Okay, well, we established the Ravens are the Ravens.
That's true.
But, like, it just showed, I think, that, holy shit, the 49ers healthy, like, they're beatable. Like, you don't have to be, like, this.
Debo got hurt, but
Debo.
I know Debo got hurt, yes, and that's still a
this.
big piece missing out. But,
I mean, I don't
the
know.
whole defense is basically healthy.
He's a top 10 player, Zach. It hurts when you lose a top 10 player.
I know, but they have two other ones on the offense already, plus the running back. So
it's
like you know what I mean? Three of them, 3 other top 10 players.
Zach, they still got the job done, right?
I know. I'm not arguing this. I just think Debo being out obviously doesn't help the team, but it's like okay, you still have a lot of other options.
They should be able to produce without Debo.
Hold on, it's more or less a scheme thing. It's like when you're going through plays through the week, like you have a certain set and scheme that you want to run. Now, when you throw someone in there that hasn't practiced that at all this week, it messes up timing and shit like that.
It is true. It did show in one play.
Timing is everything. And when you don't have the right guys in that right spot, it hurts the team. And
that point is true on the plays because I remember watching one play where they put Jennings at running back, and that's usually deep. That play went terrible.
Well, I was gonna say,
but like
more than anything, like in Kyle Shanahan offense with all that motioning, I mean, it really is more timing is more important in like his offense.
It's the West Coast in general. West Coast offense in general is more rhythm and timing. So like quarterback's got to be on time with his receivers and running back at all times.
Mm-hmm. You would think with the other players on their team that they shouldn't be able to like struggle that much on offense yet with CMC, George Kittle, Ayuk. I mean, Purdy isn't terrible, but like,
but
the
struggle that much.
Defense is really good though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they didn't. Their offense still didn't struggle. I think the Packers defense just played a pretty solid game, like they usually do when they're in big matches. They always do. But to talk more on like the Packers, yes, their season's over, but like we've said multiple times, think about this Packers team in 2 to 3 years. Like
that's the most exciting piece.
They're going to be like the 49ers right now.
It's the same thing with the Texans.
Yeah.
It's
there's a lot of
you guys lost, but like the window's wide open. It's open.
Well,
and
these next 2 years, they're going to be
4 years, bro.
Look at the
4
Lions.
years.
Look at the Lions. They're all young.
Exactly.
Besides Jared Goff, maybe he's a little bit older too, and there's a couple other people on that team as well. But like, that's a pretty young team altogether, though. That's a pretty young team. Like their core guys that are like difference makers are all like second or third year guys at the most. You know what I mean? Or rookies.
And the veterans very little. So like they got the right build for a team, a championship winning team.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, man. So yeah, if you're a Packers fan out there, which I know a few of them personally, it sucks to lose the game, but you've got a lot of stuff to look forward to. I mean, you have 3 or 4 weapons on offense, receivers alone that are all young and are just performing. And that was one thing we talked about that during the game too, actually. I know, right? We were talking about that during the game though, guys, where there isn't a single Packers like game this year where Christian what's his name? Christian Watson? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Christian Watson went off for the 4th game in a row. No, Christian Watson goes off. Then Romeo Doubs goes off. And then one of the other guys that came out of nowhere goes off.
Jalen Reed.
There's a Go ahead.
Sorry. Finish your point, Zach.
I was just gonna say there's a never-ending list of guys that can step up and perform, which as an offense is great, and as a defense playing against that sucks. The fact that you have no idea where this ball is going either.
And especially when you have a guy like Romeo Dobbs, who is putting up the numbers that he's been putting up. I mean, this guy has been open basically on every medium route, every deep route, and Jordan Love is just eating it up. I mean, those two are a perfect connection duo, and that's going to be a scary duo to watch next year.
Yeah. I mean, just to finish us off, I mean, Jordan Love, we didn't talk about him enough. I don't think at the beginning of the year, but at the end of the year, we were giving him a lot of praise. But I think he deserved all that praise because it's a big thing for a quarterback to be on the same page with their receivers. And I think them being like at a young age, all of them, I think that just helps them mesh so much better together.
Yeah.
Like
Then like a cranky Aaron Rodgers getting mad when you run a wrong route. Not that, I mean, not to take anything away from Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but like I think there's a better dynamic between Jordan Love and his receivers because they're all young and relatable in a way.
Yeah, it was proven because Aaron Rodgers was even saying like he doesn't know if he wanted to stay around because he didn't want to weld these rookie receivers into like how he wanted them to be. Like that would take too long.
And there was definitely
You've definitely got to be a perfectionist though in the NFL. Like I see where Aaron Rodgers is coming from.
No, I know. I'm not saying
we're not shit talking on Aaron Rodgers. Why? It's just like the level of there's also like they stepped up too. You can't deny that the receivers this year stepped up from last year too. But I think there's a level of like not that they disliked Aaron Rodgers, but I think it's almost more comfortable to know, oh, my quarterback is also brand new. My quarterback isn't perfect. Like they probably thought like, oh, if there's a mistake, it's probably on me. And there's that level of pressure that they probably felt in that way because they had to perform for Aaron Rodgers. But now it's like they kind of get to perform for themselves. Like, hey, we're just in this as a team now officially, not because I'm worried about what Aaron's going to think about me or whatever may be in the next time, which I'm putting words into people's mouths and I probably shouldn't be, but that's what I can see easily of maybe a direct correlation of why this team performed a lot better than last year, straight up. But
and again, this was supposed to be a rebuild year for them.
Yeah.
So again,
it's exciting stuff.
Hats off to the Packers. Great year for them.
Yeah. Good stuff.
A lot to look forward to.
And lots to look forward to for this next game that we're going to talk about for the Lions as well. So Lions versus Buccaneers. Lions did pull it out in the end. They did win, I think, by like 8 points total. Kind of controversial going back in after the fact that the Bucs could have called the timeout. They could have forced it in. They could have made it into overtime. It's like, guys, think about what they would have had to accomplish. They would have had to first get the punt, march probably on, let's say, safely 75 yards, and score not a touchdown, but also get a 2-point conversion to tie the game in 30 seconds. So you tell me what those odds are and tell me, oh, Todd Bowles or whatever his name is an absolute idiot for not taking those odds. Todd Bowles knew what his odds were. He goes, let's just end this season already and just get out of it. And I mean, they were beaten. They were beaten at this point. They weren't doing anything offensively. And shout out to the Lions, man. They won another playoff game. That makes 2 in the last 32 years. But shout out to them. They made it to the NFC Championship, which is so cool. I'm not a Lions fan, but man, I really, really am rooting for those guys. If I want somebody out of the NFC to make it to the Super Bowl, I want it to be the Lions personally.
That's just because the Niners.
No, it's because it's a good story. I can care less about the Niners.
I saw a stat that said the last time the Lions made the NFC Championship, it was like Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra, and like somebody else. All weren't even born yet.
That's such a
the last time they had the NFC Championship game. It was like, damn.
Yeah, wild. And there's all these.
They ever made the Super Bowl?
I don't know if they've ever made it, but it for sure has never won it though. I'm pretty sure they've never won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think they ever won
as a franchise. I don't know if they made it there or not.
Made it.
Same thing with the Vikings. Vikings never won it, but they've made it 4 times. So they've struck out 4 times.
The Steelers whooped their ass one time. I know that.
Just to talk about the Buccaneers, or not the Buccaneers, the Lions. I think for a team to be able to make the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, you have to have your offense and your defense both clicking. And this Lions offense has been clicking all year. Mm-hmm. So has this Lions defense, but lately this Lions defense has looked really good. Like they held White was the Buccaneers leading rusher and he only had 55 yards. Yes, Baker Mayfield went off,
And
but
Brandon had 9 carries, but
yeah, true. But Baker
Hutchinson's stepping up right now.
Mayfield did go off, but like that's expected because this Buccaneers offense was one of the hottest offenses to end the regular season.
Yeah.
But also, I also think like the Buccaneers knew coming into this game, this is going to be a shootout. I mean, when you got the receivers that the Lions do, you got to score quick. And I mean, that's exactly what they did. Baker threw for 350 yards, had 3 tutties. I mean, Mike Evans, 8 receptions, 147 yards, and a tutty. So, I mean, like, they needed to throw the ball to win this game, and that's exactly what they tried to do.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway from this game was the difference maker in the first half, Mike Evans getting so many yards. And then the second half, I don't know what that Lions defense did, but he only got like 2 receptions, and they were when the Lions were already up by 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, they had to have done something differently to shut out Mike Evans. And then once they did, I mean, walked away with it.
I mean, overall, it was a great game to begin with. I mean, offensively, it was a close game. They were going back and forth at times. But like you said, though, Dalen, the Lions have been one of the best and most consistent offenses all year long, which is really cool. I mean, they've been one of the best offenses from the very beginning, week 1, all the way now until, technically week 20 or whatever it is, or week 21. But, like, regardless, their offense is going to be able to perform. And I'm looking kind of like forecasting for the future now that they're going to play the 49ers next week, or this week, I should say. That's going to be a tough matchup. But what's good about why is the Lions offense so good? It's because they can effectively run the ball. That is such an important piece to having a good offense. If you can run the ball, whether it's by committee or just one running back alone, you are going to open up everything else. Absolutely everything else on your offense to be able to score touchdowns, to be able to get yards, to be able to make those tough plays. And having the double-headed the double-headed
double-edged sword.
I guess, yeah, that's probably what it is. Or double-headed monster, I should say, is the piece of it of like, you have David Montgomery, and then you have the young rookie Jahmyr Gibbs. They both complement each other so stinking well. Jahmyr Gibbs is your third down receiving, really fast back. And then David Montgomery is just going to put his head down and get you 5 yards or whatever it may be. Like,
in between,
it's such a good tandem. It's such a good tandem too. But not to mention they have weapons. I mean, Sam Laporte has been the best rookie tight end in recent memory from like a statistical standpoint. Not to mention Amon-Ra St Brown has had his best career or his best game. His best season yet. I mean, it's incredible what they're able to do on offense. Is
he a top 3 receiver?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
as how consistent he was all season long, I think he deserves to be up there.
Are you going to put him over Devontae?
I think from the season
right now,
had, though, I'm not saying
yeah.
like looking at it from a season by season standpoint, who had the better season, Devontae Adams or Amon-Ra? I think Amon-Ra gets that nod. From a seasonal perspective.
I mean, don't get me wrong. In Devontae Adams' prime, you're taking Devontae, but like,
did you see their stats?
He's better than DK.
You're just saying that because the Lions
I
team
think
has done
only receivers.
Though.
I think the only receivers ahead of him are Tyreek and CeeDee Lamb.
All right, let's take a look, guys.
Mike Evans.
Remember these stats for me,
Mike
please.
Evans
right?
I don't think Mike Evans is better than Amon-Ra.
I think Mike Evans is.
All right, listen up, please. Thank you. 119 receptions, 120 receptions, Damian, on the year.
Okay.
1,515 yards.
Yeah, Mike Evans.
And 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, Mike Evans.
I mean,
based off of your reasoning though, Wyatt, DK actually had a better year than all around because he had even less and only had 100 yards less than Mike Evans, but he had like 10 or 15 less receptions than Mike Evans.
It was the touchdowns. Mike Evans had 13 and DK had, I think, 10.
This is Amon-Ra. He had 10.
No, I'm saying DK, if you want to go by my argument, DK only had 10 touchdowns, I think, or a little less.
Whatever it was. I mean, he had almost the exact same number of
Yeah, but Mike Evans had 13 actually 14 if you want to include this.
Touchdowns are tough. It's because you have to get the ball in the red zone, or you have to have a deep bomb. It's hard to say like, oh, you are the only reason why this touchdown happened. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, but Mike Evans.
Let's go to
Mike Evans and DK were both averaging 16.
Yeah, let's look at Devontae, because I think Devontae had some insane stats actually this year that kind of went under the rug just because of how good their team did.
So Devontae had 100. So he had 103 catches, 1,100 yards, and 8 touchdowns. So, in my opinion, statistically,
Mike Evans was more. Mike Evans needed to go off for their team to be successful.
I don't doubt that, but I still think that Amon-Ra had a great season. I don't know. It doesn't have to be this guy's better than this guy. Amon-Ra statistically had one of his best, one of the best receiving years this season. I mean, 119 catches. I
understand that.
Yards.
You got to look at the two offenses, though. Obviously, Amon-Ra is averaging how many yards per catch? Average yard per catch?
Let me go back.
That doesn't necessarily mean that much. Like,
yeah, I mean, okay, but this is such a hot take. I think still to say Amon-Ra is a top 3. I think he's one of the. I think he's one of the best receivers in the NFL right now this year, but I don't know if he's top 3.
So yard less than what?
Definitely think Mike Evans is.
I just think
and Devontae's
in Mike Evans' prime and Devontae's prime, you can say they're obviously better than Amon-Ra, but like right now,
I'm saying this game. I'm not arguing all time.
Amon-Ra's game right now.
Mike Evans.
You can take Mike Evans. I'll take Amon-Ra all day.
That's fine. We don't have to agree on this. And I don't know why Mike Evans got brought into this equation. It was about Devontae Adams and Amon-Ra to begin with.
He was saying top 3. If we want to discuss top 3, we got to bring in every receiver.
I mean, from a top 3 number standpoint, I think he's up there when it comes to that. He had, I think, the second most or the third most catches this season. He had third most in yards, and he was a little bit lower in touchdowns, but he's third in 2 out of the 3 categories that matter.
Yeah.
Moving on. Yeah. It doesn't have to be an argument, though. It's just
no. Yeah. I think everyone's also not going to have the same top 3.
You know what? Screw what we have to say, guys. Let us know in the comments below. Who do you think is the top 3 wide receivers right now? Does Amon-Ra St Brown deserve to be in the top 3 receivers this season? We're not talking about in the last decade on who's better over the last 10 years. We're talking about this season. Who had the top 3 best seasons as a wide receiver? Let us know. You guys can find out, or let us know what you guys think as well. Who's right? Who's wrong? Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe it's somebody else we're not talking about yet. Who knows? But yeah, overall though, guys, this was a really good game. Obviously, it was such a crazy, even emotional thing again for the Lions to get another big win, make it to divisional round, be good for them to, to hopefully win it all. But we'll see what happens this next week. But before we do that, Chiefs versus Bills, one of the most, this has been one of the best rivalry games in recent memory in the last, I would say, 5 years. This has been a rivalry game to a T. But
it doesn't matter if it's a playoff or regular season game. This game is going to go down to the wire. People have to realize that by now. I mean,
yeah,
the last 4 games have went down to the wire.
And that's not just to mention the fact that, the Chiefs have struggled most of the season, which is true. Now they're coming to life again. Makes sense. It doesn't matter even if they weren't coming to life in this playoffs and they were just scraping by. This was still going to be, like you said, Dalen, right down to the wire, right down to the last play of the game. And overall, it was a great game. To me, if the game ended, I'm like, wow, the Bills lost again. Because it didn't feel like they lost the game, though, because they did play really well, in my opinion. I think they really did.
I mean, this game was looking like it was going to overtime, if we're all being honest.
Yeah.
Looked like it was going to overtime. Missed field goal. It's unfortunate, but these things do happen.
Tyler Bass has been very consistent.
Well, yeah, that too. I
don't think he missed or something.
But I think it's just the worst. It was just the worst thing possible to happen for him, and I feel for him because I'm guessing his DMs aren't very hot.
It sucks to be like the Bills and like Josh Allen because like I think it's unanimous. Like it's hard to not like Josh Allen. Like he's a very likable like player, just the way he plays and his personality and stuff. But it sucks that he is going to constantly his whole career gonna have to get over the hump of Patrick Mahomes. That like they're gonna be in this. Neither of those quarterbacks are going anywhere for a long time.
No.
And they're both going to be very good for a long time. Is Josh Allen going to be able to ever get over him like Patrick Mahomes?
What I was going to say is like I saw a thing, I think actually today, where there's always like, oh, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are the next Brady and Manning rivalry. That's the next one. After the game, obviously, somebody posted a picture of Phillip Rivers and then Tom Brady. They go, no, this is actually what the Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes is, because Phillip Rivers, Hall of Fame quarterback, never did shit when it comes to the playoffs or anything like that.
He never won anything.
You know, so it's like
Brady was always in his way.
But you could go back and let's look at Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. I mean, Tom Brady won the majority of battles in the playoffs.
I know, but Peyton Manning still got it done twice. Josh Allen has not done it once. Not even
Lamar's Peyton Manning.
Twice. Brady's 6 Super Bowls came out of that. And Peyton Manning only won it twice.
Well, I know. I mean, there's clearly a winner. We're not saying that's not.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess he won it 3 times because he did lose.
Well, because he was just doing the comparison, like like Mahomes is Brady, like obviously the best quarterback in the AFC. Like all these AFC teams back in like the early 2000s all had these great quarterbacks, but they just couldn't get over Tom Brady. Because Brady was just always in the way. I mean, like obviously, it happens sometimes, but like
no matter how
Tom
good
Brady
or how
was
bad,
always in the AFC Championship, or always in the Super Bowl, always the number 1 seed.
No matter how good or bad they were that season, too, he's gonna make it all the way to the championship game, probably in some way, shape, or form. You know,
I mean, is that not this Chiefs team?
It is. That's literally it's a carbon copy.
The Chiefs team is just they're just crazy. Like every single playoffs, bro. They just
and I agree. I mean, going back to the game, I mean, the Bills controlled over damn near 40 minutes of offense, and for the Chiefs to only have 22 minutes, I mean, that just shows how good they really are. They're able to get it done. The Bills on paper should have won this game by a mile, and they just weren't able to put the points up in the red zone when they needed to.
Yeah, they flopped.
They couldn't score in the red zone. I mean, one thing that stood out to me the most was
the Chiefs defense.
The Chiefs defensive line.
I mean, 400 yards of offense, but
I know their defensive line.
And don't break.
In rushing.
And don't break.
Josh Allen was leading their team in rushing. You can't have that as your quarterback.
Yeah, 72 yards in.
Unless you're Lamar. Does
he usually run the ball that much, Josh Allen?
He has.
He only had 12 carries.
He has. He only had 12 carries. He did against the Steelers.
That's still a lot for a quarterback.
I mean, Lamar was also around that 12 carry mark against the Texans.
Yeah, he had 11. I mean, there's not a lot of...
Josh Allen also is a big physical running back. Like
I know, but how many times are you going to be like, oh, yeah, my quarterback ran it for 10-plus times? It's like, what?
I feel like Josh Allen does that almost every game, run 12 times.
Well, that's what I asked. Does he usually run?
I think it's only
he's going to rush out and get outside the pocket and make a play downfield.
He's going to
get so many, like, designed QB runs, I felt like. He had so many, like, read option plays where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. I might be a casual fan here saying that, but like,
I think you are coming from a casual fan because like every time I
asshole,
team,
dumbass.
Hold on.
You don't know anything.
All right, don't go there. But like against Miami, they came into a couple 4th down plays, and who came up with like they came into they called the play right. It was a pass play. Rolls out to his right. And instead of throwing the ball downfield, he takes off, runs the ball 15 yards. It was like on every 4th down, who made the play? It was Josh Allen with his legs.
Well, I mean,
and I feel like it just carried over into this week as well.
My argument was just like the design QB. Like, yeah, I'm scrambling. Yeah, I know he does that. But like design, like
read option. I'm keeping this and fucking taking off. Like it was designed the whole time.
I think it helps his case. He's able to get downhill. It's not like he has to make a decision now. Instead of putting the thought in his head like, oh, shit, I can throw this. No, you're getting downhill and run someone over. And Josh Allen is 6'5", 260. He's going to run someone over. I think that helps him in every way possible.
I mean, it does. We're not arguing that. All we're saying is we just didn't think that they do it that often. It was more of a, if he's going to run it, just because it's a scramble. Lamar is very heavy. This is a design quarterback run, whether he's pulling it on the read option or even if they're lead blocking for him, he's catching it and essentially just taking off with it.
Yeah, so in Trey's sense,
like, that a lot.
QB draws and like I think they just literally put that in for playoffs because it's not even this playoffs. Like last year, Josh Allen.
He did it a shit ton against the Steelers too.
Yeah, but he was doing the exact same thing last year. I think they just have more plays. They don't want him running it as much, obviously, to not get hurt. Like they don't want him to season-ending
add a new wrinkle into the offense and stuff. Yeah, makes sense.
But I mean, I don't even know why we're talking about Josh Allen.
I was just gonna say
because I mean,
he's done.
Who took over the show in this game?
Patrick Mahomes.
Jason
it wasn't
Kelce.
Patrick Mahomes.
Travis Kelce.
Jason Kelce.
It wasn't Travis Kelce. It wasn't Josh Allen. It was Jason Kelce, bro.
Yeah, that was my favorite
part. Bro.
That was my favorite part of the entire game. The fact that you could see Jason Kelce screaming from the stands, way better than Taylor when they panned to Taylor. I was looking forward to seeing, and maybe this is it. Taylor Swift is to all her female audience. Jason Kelce is what we are to. Like Jason Kelce is our Taylor Swift for the male audience, whatever that may be. But I was looking forward to seeing Jason Kelce's reaction to whatever the hell happened on the field. I mean, that was just me. It was just cool to see him.
Yeah, I mean, he was
out there. That. You got to get that picture framed.
Oh,
he was out there, but
he was pre-gaming with.
I might have to do that.
He was pre-gaming with the Bills Mafia too. I mean,
just like
he was just going crazy.
He's just having the best time of his life. So good for Jason. But yeah, Travis Kelce had a great game too. Also had a great game.
I mean, Patrick and Travis Kelce were back to their old ways as being one of the best duos in the NFL. I mean, Travis Kelce 2 touchdowns. Were they both in the? They weren't in the first half, were they, or were they?
No, just
I don't remember when his receiver screen was.
One was in the second quarter, and the other was in the third.
Gotcha. Well, we can talk more about the Chiefs because, hey, they have a game this coming week, and so do some other teams as well. So let's dive into it, guys. Going into this week's playoff games, we do have Championship Sunday. I like how these all have actual names now and everything like that. But we have our first game, I believe. Are they both on?
I think it's the Ravens.
Oh, they're both on Sunday. Okay, so it is the Ravens game. So yes, Ravens at PMET, which I don't know why they put that together. But Chiefs versus Ravens, AFC Championship earlier that day on Sunday. Going to be a crazy game. My personal opinion, I think the Ravens look really, really damn good. But again, it's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce in the playoffs.
Stop counting them out. I
mean, you can't count them out. I want the Ravens to win. I'm going to pick the Ravens to win. But again, I can easily see the Chiefs getting back to the Super Bowl for the 45th straight year. You know,
yeah, 100%, Zach. I'm on the same wavelength as you are. I think, or I know that Baltimore should win it. I think they're the more complete team, but it's the Chiefs. You can't be surprised, so I'm not going to be surprised if they end up making it to the Super Bowl for another year.
Yeah.
The Steeler fan in me is it's hard to pick the Ravens. You know, same thing as like when the Bengals made it a couple years ago. I can't do it. I just can't.
But think about, do you want the Chiefs to be there again?
No, but Trey,
I would rather the Chiefs over the Ravens because I just think Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce is such a cool like duo and just all that. Granted, I don't want to freaking keep winning all these Super Bowls because I'd like to see a different team in there. But I don't think I can get myself to cheer for the Ravens. I just don't think I can.
This game's tough. This is a tough game to pick right here.
Yeah.
But the way I see this game coming down to, I mean, we really haven't seen this man, and I might be a little biased, and I might be wearing his jersey, But this is looking like an Odell Beckham type game right here. I mean, he has had 3 weeks up. Only saw the ball 2 times last week, and
He only got one.
Was it only one? Only one ball? Thank you, David. It was only one ball. And it was a really nice scrap. And this is calling for an Odell Beckham one-on-one against Snead. And I think Odell Beckham is going to absolutely torch him. This is exactly why they signed him. For this game right here. This is the difference maker. Obviously,
I've been saying it too.
Obviously, Isaiah Likely is going to do what he's going to do because he's been showing out. They've needed Rashawn Bateman to become that 6'4" receiver that can go up and make downfield catches. He's going to see at least 3 targets a game. Now all they need is Odell Beckham to come in and finish the job, and I think Odell Beckham is going to do what Odell Beckham does. And just like what he did for the Ravens, he's going to show out and have himself a game. Defensively for this Ravens team, not a shutout, but I think this Ravens team is up for the challenge. This Ravens team, I mean, Marlon Humphrey is expected to play, I'm pretty sure.
Mark Andrews is back, too. Mark Andrews is back.
They also get back a top 3 tight end, too.
I forgot about that. Mark Andrews, they said he's going to be back.
Could be a little rusty, but
to your point, Wyatt, I feel like the Chiefs' strong suit is their corners, though. Like McDuffie is,
and that's exactly why you need an Odell Beckham to come in and get the job done. When you have Odell Beckham, that adds a little bit of speed to the back end, opens up Isaiah Likely to open up against a linebacker. When you have a linebacker guarding Isaiah Likely, who's 6'4", who can run a 4'8", 4'7". Yeah, he's not running with Isaiah Likely, nor is he jumping with Isaiah Likely.
I mean, you're gassing Likely, Wyatt, but like I said, Mark Andrews is back. Likely's
who knows how much he's actually going to play.
That's a whole nother thing, bro. They got to guard Mark Andrews now, and Likely.
I agree with you, 100% agree with you. That just adds fuel to the fire right there. But also, I just really think this is a game where Odell Beckham is going to come out and do what he needs to do. It's going to be cold. I mean, it's going to be a real good game, afternoon game. And I just really think that the Ravens defense is going to
playing in the cold.
Bro played in Cleveland. He's all right. Bro played in New York. He's all right.
That's that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the cold's going to have anything to do
with.
What
are you doing in New York? He made the NFC Championship, or he had a bye week, first round bye. They actually lost that game. But
but
he played good. He played good.
That's when he was a young receiver. Now he's
pushing 30.
He played good. 2 years ago.
He still can cook some corners, Trey.
And he's played good all year.
Actually, why it's acting like this guy's up there with CeeDee Lamb and his skill set still?
No, he's just saying, but
back in his day, sure.
I mean,
he's not anymore.
To Wyatt's
anymore.
I don't think anyone is.
To Wyatt's point, Odell Beckham Jr. is a good third option if that's what you need, or second option if that's what you need.
But
you know what I mean? Like, that's a pretty good option to have. And I think the whole point of this, though, whether it's Odell, whether it's Bateman, whether it's Zay Flowers, you're going to need to be able to beat the Chiefs by committee. It can't just be one guy going off. If you're going to beat this Chiefs team, to actually put them out finally more than 13 seconds, multiple touchdowns, so you know it's a given at that point, you're going to have multiple guys go off and play good. I think the run game for Ravens it's going to be vital for them. If they can control the ground and pound, score touchdowns, move the ball, but also waste time, that's going to be their biggest help for them if they can get that run game established.
Defense is going to be the difference maker here, Zach.
That's what I was just saying.
I think like this.
I think the most complete team on Sundays. The most complete team on Sundays, or this Sunday, is gonna come out with a win. If the Ravens defense can shut down Patrick Mahomes, I mean, I don't see how the Ravens can't win. And they get Humphrey back.
Yeah, they're only getting better. They're only getting better going into the later games. So, well, let's hope it happens. I think we split that even, though, Ravens and then Chiefs. So we'll see what happens this week.
Why, you said Chiefs?
I'm a Chief.
Did Wyatt say Chiefs?
I think you just said Wyatt that he's not. Did you say Ravens then?
Yeah.
I guess you really didn't say it. You just said Odell Beckham Jr. That's all you said.
Ravens.
But hey, let's go into the last game then. 6:30 that night is going to be Lions versus 49ers. Interesting matchup because there's obviously, in my opinion, somebody who I want to win. There's definitely a different thing that's probably who's going to win. That's going to be happening. I really want the Lions to win this game. I really want the Lions to be able to make it to. Now, do I think they're going to beat either the Chiefs or the Ravens? Probably not, to be completely honest with you, if they do make it. But I really would like to see that story, come to fruition and finally finish in the Super Bowl. That being said, the 49ers are insane. Just straight up. They're crazy good. I'm torn because I think the 49ers have a real chance of beating this team. But you know what their Lions have been really good at, though, defensively? If it's not been overall a good defense, they've been really good on stopping the run. That's been their biggest claim to fame, which if you can shut down Christian McCaffrey, you're going to win this game against the 49ers.
You put it in, I was going to say, you put it in Brock Purdy's hands. I mean, I'd rather put it in Brock Purdy's hands than Christian McCaffrey's hands.
100%.
Especially
Brock Purdy goes out there and beats my ass. Fine. I mean, he deserves it then. But
yeah. I mean, go ahead, Zach. You can finish.
I was just gonna say, give me the Lions. I went back and forth on it. Give me the Lions, though. I think they can get if they shut down Christian McCaffrey, they're gonna be okay. Even though they have other weapons, it's gonna be messy. But Christian McCaffrey is the reason why they won that game against the Packers, and he's gonna be the reason why he wins this game too. If he's able to do what he did last week as well, straight up. If you can limit him to less than 100 yards and 2 touchdowns plus however many more receiving, then you're gonna win this game.
I was gonna say, I don't necessarily know if you can shut down Christian McCaffrey, but at least slow him down. Limit him to those having those monster 100-yard rushing games, 100-yard receiving games that he freaking has.
Yeah,
but there's something about this Lions team, dude. It's hard to root against them. It is. It's hard to root against, dude. I don't know. I think I'm with Zach again. I think I gotta go. Lions.
There we go.
Zach said Niners.
Yeah, I said Lions. I said Lions.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm. I went back and forth. I gave a really misleading answer, but
I mean, again, why you want to go first?
I mean, I don't think this game's back and forth. I mean, I think we all know who's going to win this game. And I really don't think it'll be as close as anyone thinks it's going to be. I mean, really on paper, this Lions defense is really shaky. They really only get stingy in the red zone. And when you have a team as dominant as the 49ers have been, this team's going to score in the red zone, and there's no stopping it. The O-line is also performing really well. And Frank Regnault for the Lions center is questionable. He's a little banged up, so that definitely does not help the Lions case. He's gonna play obviously, but if he's banged up and he's going against these big, this is a big front four. This is something that the Lions don't see very often. I mean, the Rams
do have one of the best offensive lines in the game.
I understand.
The best offensive line.
Even when their center went out, they were still dominant.
And that's fine. But when you get to the second level and you got Greenlaw and Fred Warner flying around, this is a different story. This 49ers team is built to win, and it's built to win now. I mean, this is not a question for me. I think this Niners team gets it done, and then they win by, I don't want to say 20, but I want to say 17, 14 points.
Oh, clip that.
I'll clip that.
I'm going to go another route. Because I'm on the same wavelength.
Lions win by 50.
I'm on the same wavelength as Trey and Zach here. Sorry, wife.
That's fine.
That's a big shout because both of these teams are so good. Both of these teams are super good.
I said 20. I said 17, 14.
I think
still so many points though.
I think a big difference maker, you guys mentioned, Zach and Trey, is getting the ball in Brock Purdy's hands instead of CMC. If the Lions can do that, especially with Deebo Samuels, if he's not going to play this week either, I mean, that's a big weapon that they have, and it would only be Ayuk and Kittle as their strong receivers.
Debo's going to be return though.
I would say Debo's going to be a pretty big factor if he's not playing or not 100%. Mm-hmm. That'll be a huge tell, obviously. I think we're all forgetting one piece though, guys, on this Lions team.
What's that?
They have a white linebacker with long hair. Immediate dog.
Alonzo?
Immediate dog.
Dude's-
If you have a
dude's
white
attack-
linebacker,
Did he lead the league in tackles?
Rodrigo's way better than him.
He might have, Trey.
a white linebacker
think
with
he-
long hair, I don't care who it is on the other side of the ball. I want the white linebacker with long hair. That's what I want.
Yeah, but anyways, to finish off, I think this Lions team is just destined to make this Super Bowl. I just feel it. Just like you were saying, Zach, I have a feeling that this Lions team is going to do something, and they're going to prove that they deserve to be in the Super Bowl after they beat the 49ers by 10.
Whoa.
Give me the Lions.
It's going to be tough. I'm really excited for this weekend of football, guys. Like, super excited to begin with. I know it's just on Sunday, which kind of sucks. I wish we had
Only
one
2
game on
more
Saturday,
weeks.
one game on Sunday. Guys, we're only a couple weeks left in this entire season, which, again, we appreciate you. Well, yeah, because they also have the bye, or they have that additional week built in. But regardless, though, guys,
More weeks of football, but
it's going to be exciting nonetheless. We thank you all for watching.
get out of here. That thing sucks.
Yeah, it does. I'm not
Like
gonna lie.
football?
Give me that flag football game, man.
People miss Sean Taylor killing people nowadays. We don't get to
The
see that no
dodgeball
more.
tournament is the
That's the highlight. The skills. The
That or
skills.
the
I might watch
skills.
that.
What is it? The relay race that they do?
Yeah,
Is
that
the
race.
skills challenge?
They tried to do that like crazy catch, like pretty much the dunk contest, but for the NFL. That was a flop. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my
Back like
entire
the
life.
quarterback
was it?
drills.
Do they still do the quarterbacks thing? Where
They
the
somewhat do. They still have a quarterback drill.
Yeah,
like,
it's not as good as it was though.
See, like
previously.
yeah, in the old days, that quarterback drill,
they were
especially when
running
you have
around.
Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Peyton Manning, Tom.
Well, they had
Brady,
guys
all
showed
those
up.
people.
Tyler Huntley made the Pro Bowl a couple of years ago. Let's keep that
Mac
in mind.
Jones made the Pro Bowl.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it'll be fun though nonetheless. Thank you guys all for watching this entire season. Again, don't forget to check out that Dog of the Year video that came out this last Sunday. That will be again linked probably soon here. You'll see it right after this. But yeah, I think that's what we have, guys.
When you view it, make sure you leave a like.
Yes, don't just
Really
watch.
helps.
And
Like, subscribe, and if you really feel like it, comment something. I don't care what you say.
Maybe we'll do something special.
who's your top
if we
three?
hit
That's what we're doing in
100
the
subscribers.
Yes, I was going to say, so we did recently just surpass 50 subscribers. Thank you so much. I don't necessarily have a video plan, but I do want to have something planned for 100 subscribers. So we're about a little bit over halfway there. I think we're at like 52 or 53 right now. So thank you again for all that support.
Yeah, I mean, remember, guys, we don't just have YouTube. We got TikTok, Twitter, we got Instagram.
I was just
whatever you're more equipped to, follow us on that.
We have multiple
How
platforms.
many seconds, Trey?
What do you say?
1 second. Takes
1 second. 1 second to hit that follow or hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you're on. Yes, like Dalen said, that's always in our description as well. So you guys take a look at below. Instagram, we have TikTok, we have X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. So we are on all major platforms. No Facebook. Nobody's on Facebook anymore. But make sure you guys follow those to get any updates from us. But yeah, it's been a real one, guys. It's been a good one. We'll see you guys in the next one. And peace.